So, the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD-2D remakes are finally out. You can check out my review of these games on the channel, but it is time to jump in to the beginner tips video, because you know we do this, we like to do this when these games come out, and this could be a pretty special video because this could be the video that pushes us over 1 million views on the channel. So, you know, give it a like, drop a comment, help the algorithm notice this video, because we're only about 1,000 views away. So yeah, good times. Thank you for all the views, everybody. I appreciate you all. Also, a massive thank you to Square Enix for gifting me a copy of the game to make content with. Like the video, subscribe for future content, but let's get on with it. Now, the first thing that I'm going to suggest comes down to the settings for the game, and this is first off the difficulty level that you're going to go through the game in, and then some helpful options that are in the menus. So, first off, you have 3 difficulty levels. You have Draki Quest, you have Dragon Quest, and you have Draconian Quest. I would recommend that you do it on Dragon Quest, but if you just want to coast through the experience, you can do it on Draki Quest. If you like a challenge, obviously you go for Draconian Quest, but brace yourself. It's fun, but it's going to hurt. But probably the more useful thing is, in the game, open up the menu, go to the MISC section of the menu, go down to System Settings, and then go down to Helpful Options. And in the Helpful Options menu, you have 3 very useful things that you can switch on if you kind of still want to play through the game with some challenge, but don't want to waste your time running around looking for nothing. The first of these options is to turn on the objective on the minimap. So basically it will just show a little yellow circle on the minimap for an objective that you're looking for. Simple as that. This can help you as far as, you know, making sure that you're not getting lost or caught in the weeds, making sure that if you do go off the beaten path and do some additional stuff, some side stuff, of which there is some in Dragon Quest 1, not much, but there is some, you can then find your way back to the main quest nice and easy. Plus, if you just don't really want to think, you know, sometimes you don't want to think, you've had a busy day, you know, work was rough, and you just don't want to think, turn this on, you'll be fine. The same goes for the next option, which is to turn on treasure chest locations, which will just show them on the map. It'll be nice and easy, just open your minimap, you'll be able to see where all the chests are. It'll stop you from going down dead ends, basically, and speed things up a little bit for you. And the same goes for the next thing, which is secret spots. It'll just display secret spots on the world map. They're things that you can go up to. You'll occasionally find items there, you'll occasionally find a character to interact with. There's a variety of things in these secret spots, but turning on these 3 options can definitely speed things up for you, and just make the experience a little bit smoother. Not that there's any issue with it, and obviously, if you are a glutton for punishment, which a lot of us are, don't turn any of these on. Explore everywhere. And there is another reason not to turn these on, because one of the tips that's coming up in a minute is embrace the grind, basically, and if you turn in these things on, you're running around less, and therefore you aren't grinding as much. So, you know, it's up to you. But if you find that you're struggling with finding things, these are very useful to turn on. Another one that you can turn on is in the same menu, except instead of going to helpful settings, you go to battle settings. You can turn on the suggested actions option. And what that does is it highlights any command that an enemy that you're facing will be weak to. So it just gives you a nudge in the right direction as far as combat goes. I've personally not turned this one on. I have turned the treasure chests one on because I hate going down dead ends, but as far as this goes, I've not turned this one on. But if you feel like you need that additional help, it is there for you. Now, moving on from settings, this is a bit of an obvious one, but you need to search everywhere. Because while some of the options that we just went over will show you where treasure chests are, it will not show you where other items are. And these items can be in anything from a pot, a barrel, a chest of drawers, a bookshelf. You know, there are so many different locations. These little bags that you see hanging on the walls, they can have items in them. And there are a lot of things that you'll find in these locations, such as scrolls. And scrolls we're going to come to soon, but they are a very useful thing to get your hands on. So make sure that you check in every area once over, once you get into it. Just check everywhere. Just run around the room. If you find something, a little interact option will pop up. You know how this works. Find all the things. And in the same vein as running around and making sure that you get all the items, another thing that you need to do is run around and making sure that you are grinding and leveling yourself up. I would recommend each time you move to a new area, you need to be leveling up at least 2 or 3 times just to make sure that you are okay in that area and that you're going to survive. You do have the handy speed boost in combat by using R1. You can turn the speed up to ultra fast. That makes combat go nice and quickly, and you can get through the grind with minimal time. But you definitely want to make sure that you are leveling up at least a few times with each area that you go to, because if not, you're going to find yourself getting stomped. Especially because in this game, you are one character against sometimes 3 or 4 different enemies, and sometimes that can get on top of you a little bit, so you want to make sure that you are as strong as possible so that you can get through these fights. That's basically it. And another thing that you need to do in order to make sure that you can get through the encounters in the game is to buy gear upgrades as they come available. And part of the grinding that you're going to do is going to be to get gold in order to buy these items, because some of these items are quite expensive. Some of the pieces of armor that you could do with picking up, some of the weaponry that you could do with picking up. Now, you can mitigate this a lot by following some of the previous suggestions, such as searching everywhere, finding all of the items that you can, so that you've either got things that you can use or you've got things that you can sell in order to buy the things that you can use. It's definitely something that you need to keep an eye on, because gear is a big thing in this game. If you're unsure about what a piece of gear that you've found can do, make sure that you use the peep spell on the item. Just go to items in the menu and find the thing that you want to check out, click on it, and if you've got the peep spell learned, peep will be one of the options that you can use there. This will tell you if an item's cursed, because there are some pieces of gear that are cursed, and if you put them on, you're not going to be able to take them off, at least not easily. So things to keep an eye on. One example is the 10-ton toupee. If you wear that, it is cursed and it will cause you to defend constantly in battle. You won't be able to take it off easily once you've equipped it. Don't put it on. Just don't put it on. And the way that you can check for this is using peep. So make sure that once you've got it, you are checking equipment before you put it on, just in case. Now, I touched on this a little bit earlier on, but with all of the item finding that you're going to be doing, you are going to find scrolls. And scrolls are a single-use item that will teach your character a new ability or a new spell. Whenever you find one, just use it. You don't really need to think about it too much, because it's not as if you've got multiple characters to share these out through, you know, and you can put certain ones on a certain character for a better effect. There's none of that. You have your one character, use all of the scrolls on it, and use all of the seeds on the same character. Seeds are items that will boost your character's abilities, so you will find a strength seed that will make you stronger, life seed, etc, etc, etc. Just use them. As soon as you get them, just use them on your character. Give yourself that boost, make yourself stronger. And as I'm sure you can tell, all of this feeds into making sure that you are exploring everywhere. I cannot reiterate enough how much you need to check things and just make sure that there's not an item there, because you might find something useful and it'll make you stronger. So do that. And there is one more thing that you're going to find while you're exploring around, and that is mini medals. Now, if you've played Dragon Quest as a franchise, you know, if you've played any of the newer games, or if you played the Dragon Quest 3 HD-2D remake, which was amazing, play it, it's really good. But if you played that, mini medals are collectible items that you can trade into someone for items. Sounds like a good deal. So make sure that, once again, you are exploring everywhere and finding these mini medals. Mini medals can be traded in at the Citadel of the Monarch of Medals. Nice. And that is at the very bottom left of the map. You'll find it. If you head to the very bottom left of the map, you will find it. It is not the easiest place to get to. You're probably going to need to be, I would probably guess, about level 12. You could probably do it. You could probably do it at about level 12. You'll be running away from fights, so watch out for that. But you could probably get down there pretty quick. To be fair, you could get down there earlier. It might just take a little bit of effort because, like I say, you're going to reach a point where you're going to need to flee from encounters because you will get beat up. But if you can do it, you can get down there and you can get some gear that will be beneficial to you, nice and early. There is a shop there that will sell things that you probably shouldn't have access to depending on how early you head there. I don't believe there's any kind of barrier to stopping you getting there. So, yeah, as soon as you feel brave enough to head down to the bottom left corner of the map, head down there and trade in those mini medals. There are 40 of them altogether. So, yeah, good hunting. Good hunting. And some of the rewards are really good. So, make sure you get on that. Now, we're nearly there. We've got a couple more tips. The first one is quite early in the game. Just to the northeast of Tantagel, you'll be able to find a location called the Forgotten Ruins. And in there, you will find a character called Zaylan. Zaylin is a long storyline quest that goes on throughout the game. You will bump into him at random little locations like this, so not really in the main towns, although sometimes you do, but just keep an eye out for Zaylin. Every time you see him, have a chat with him. There are some good items that you can get. You have to progress the story in order to unlock the next meeting with him, so as you go in through the game, you will gradually see him more and more. Just keep an eye out for him. If you've not seen him for a bit, have a look around just in case. So yeah, he may pop up in locations that you've already been to that he wasn't there previously. Just keep an eye out for him. Now, another menu option that we have is the shortcut commands, which are extremely useful just to be able to cast a few things really quickly. You can set heal to it, you can set zoom to it, which is very useful for fast travel. You can set anything, well, not anything, but there are a lot of things that you can set to it. Just have a look, go into the settings and just pick them. You can assign 4 of them, 1 to each direction of the D-pad, and when you're out in the world, you hold R1 and then it will show you the options and you select which one you want. In order to assign them, you just head to the menu, go to MISC, and then go to shortcut commands, and you'll be able to assign the skills there. It's useful, it'll speed things up a little bit for you. I would check it out and see if it benefits you. We're into the last 2 now, I promise. The first one is Sigils, and you'll come across your first Sigil via the story, and then after that you'll be able to explore, find items, and craft additional Sigils. Now these Sigils give various boosts to the characters. I'm not going to go into all of them. Some of them give souped up skills, some of them give stat boosts, things like that. To find the details of the Sigils that you've got, go into the menu, go to MISC, and then go to Traveller's Tips, and you'll be able to find a corresponding section for the Sigils that you're looking for. That'll tell you what they do, and you'll be able to use them effectively. The final tip is Metal Slimes. Now, if you know Dragon Quest, Metal Slimes are a highly evasive, very low HP enemy that will run away at the first drop of a hat, but if you manage to kill them, you can get a nice big chunk of XP. And for this beginner's guide, the main ones that we're going to talk about are the Metal Slimes, and you can find them at the bottom left of the map in the same location that you find the mini medal trading location. All you want to do is head to the south of that region. You'll find like a large sandy beach area along the southern portion of this continent. Just run around there and you will fight Metal Slimes. Now, Metal Slimes can be tough to take down. What you need is, you need to either hit them 3 times, 1 HP damage a time, and then they'll drop. That's pretty tough to do, but you can do it, it is doable. But the best way to take them out is to make sure that you land a critical hit on them. Now, this can happen randomly, of course, when you're attacking, but as you level up and you get later into the game, there are skills that can guarantee a critical strike, and that will make taking these guys out much easier. Now, the problem with that is, you can kind of head to this area of the map pretty early. As long as you can survive here, you can be down here, which means that you can get to the Metal Slimes quite early. But if it's quite early in the game, you are not going to have any of these critical hit skills. So, what I recommend is, make sure that you equip the boomerang weapon, which you can find in the Craggy Cave, which is a very early location that you go to. There's a chest in there, and you can get a boomerang from it. And what you do is you equip the boomerang, and go into the encounter. This works better if there's multiple Metal Slimes in the fight, which normally there will be. It tends to be more often than not you'll get 4 or 5. And this is where the boomerang comes into its own, because when you use the boomerang to attack, it'll attack the whole line of enemies. So you'll get a chance of a hit on each one of the Metal Slimes, meaning that A, you are damaging more Metal Slimes per turn, which gives you a better chance of taking them down before they flee, because they will flee, they will run away anytime they want. So you need to be doing damage to them as much as possible, but it gives you more opportunities for a crit, and that's what you want. As soon as you get a crit, it's dead. Doesn't matter how many times you've hit it, if you crit one of these Metal Slimes, it will drop. So using the boomerang means that you get more hits for the attack, and therefore more chance of landing a crit and getting the XP. This has been the best way to farm them early on in the game, and that is everything that I've got. These beginner tips should set you up perfectly to absolutely smash through this game. It is not a big game, it can be done in 10 to 15 hours. You can absolutely blast through this game if you want to, and following these tips may push you a little bit closer to 15 hours rather than 10, but you will get all of the items, you will coast through the game, and you will have an enjoyable time. So these are my beginner tips. I may do another video with some more in-depth tips, but again, I don't think they're needed. Maybe we'll do a video looking at the changes in Dragon Quest 1 HD-2D Remake compared to the original, because there are some new things that are in there for you. But I think the next thing that we're going to look at is Dragon Quest 2 HD Remake Beginner Tips and Tricks. I will try and get that video up tomorrow, but if not, it'll be the day after. I'll get it up in the next 48 hours though, it'll be done, and you will then have all of the tips that you need. If you can think of anything that I've missed for this beginner's tip guide, leave it in the comments below, like the video, subscribe for future content, help push to the 1,000,000 views, but more importantly than all of that, have a great day.